All right, everybody, we are back. It's another episode of the Sports Clash. Rich Arleo here with Chris Carey. Chris, how you doing, bud?
Good, brother. Super excited to be back. Super excited for another great week of football and some positive traction in the things that we called out here. How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, I'm doing well, doing well. So, recording this Tuesday night. We usually try to do a Sunday night, but yeah, you were traveling, and sometimes the Sunday night's tough. So, this is the worst
For
case
sure.
scenario. We can look over our bets, look a little bit forward to next week, and kind of analyze a little bit more on some things. We're not going to go every game, but we're gonna go over our bets, our big main plays for Sunday that we had on SoBet, and go from there. So. Yeah, man, let's hop into it. I don't want to waste any more time. So as everybody knows, if you don't know, each week, each Sunday morning, we share three bets against the spread. Money line if it's basically a pick 'em, we just try to not give you anything longer than like minus 120. So you went 3-0 last week and I went 0-3, so that wasn't my ideal start. But week two was a little better. We both went 2-1, so we're giving the
Major.
winners. We post all those on SoBet as well. But on SoBet we have our analysis with it, and we have some player props, and we pick our Thursday games, any other random day games, and Monday night games on SoBet. So if you're not on SoBet, you want to get on there. But for now, we're gonna run through our plays that we picked for Sunday. We're gonna start with the one that we both picked, so we both got a win for this. And it was Steelers minus 2.5. Steelers 13, Broncos 6. The Steelers defense is lethal. And I think that was the rationale for both of us. It was TJ Watt and the Steelers, Mike Tomlin game planning up against a rookie in Bo Nix. And that's exactly what happened. The final score was 13-6. What I was worried about going in was, can the Steelers offense muster enough with Fields back there, and just kind of, they're not a good offense and they're not going to be a great offense this year. But that defense can carry them, and that's exactly what it did. They managed 13 points, and that's all they needed. They couldn't put him away. They could have put him away so much earlier if they could have just gotten a little bit more on offense. But it was still kind of a game late, but it felt like it was never really a game as close as the final score was.
Right.
Steelers are just doing what they do. We said this in the season preview. This is what the Steelers do. They're 2-0, and it sounds like Fields is going to get the start in week three. I don't know if they're going to
Oh.
go back to Russ. What do you think about what's going on with Pittsburgh here?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know Mike Tomlin gave him what he calls the petty game ball, which is when a team beats their former team, they're being petty about it, the revenge game. So they gave it to Russell Wilson and honored him, but I think that's about the last game ball he's getting from Mike Tomlin. So, I mean, uh, Fields could throw a beautiful deep ball. It's just the middle of the defense that just like, for some reason, he's dyslexic. He just can't read it. But a deep ball is beautiful and his running is perfect. So he does just enough. And they have, a running style offensive coordinator, your boy Arthur. And they want to do that. They want to keep it short and they want to run it. They want to protect the ball. They want to eat the clock and let the defense eat. And it's not just TJ Watt, too. It's Minka Fitzpatrick. It's they have Patrick Queen. Cam Hayward's still there. Like they have a great core. And I think they're going to carry him to an above 500 season yet again. It's a little early to call that. I don't know anything about their schedule, but that's what I saw in this. And I think, like you said, that's what you saw in this too. 2.5 was, wait, it was 2.5, right?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, the Broncos didn't do jack the first. Yeah, they
No.
look inept. So yeah, I thought this was kind of an easy call, but didn't expect it to be as close as it was. Didn't seem as close, exactly like you just said.
Yeah, it was one of those. The score was close, but was it really close? And the answer is no, it was not.
No.
So it's funny you say this is what the Steelers want to do, and kind of makes sense that they hired Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator, because he's not going to score a lot of points, but he is going to run the ball and eat clock, and that's kind of what they want to do. So it's like, hey Arthur, you suck just the way we want you to suck. Come on in, run
Yeah,
our offense, and let's win some really low scoring games. And
All
they
I ask for is consistency from my teams and from my even from my employees. I just, just be consistent. And if you're consistently bad, it's okay. I know what to expect. It's great. And
yeah,
then I can call the spreads against the Steelers. Thank you, Arthur.
exactly. So if you see the Steelers up against a bad offensive team or rookie quarterback, you don't want to take them. But good start for us. Both 1-0 on that one.
For sure.
Anything else on that game?
No, outside of the fact that I do think it is Fields' team. I hope it's Fields' team, and I hope they generate a little bit more offense. I hope he gets his chance because, I mean, what's going on in Chicago? Blech. You got run out of town for that,
Yeah,
you know. So hopefully he takes it and runs with it.
I hope so. I hope so. I certainly want him to succeed there and not Russ. I don't really. He's done. All right, moving on. Chargers 26, Panthers 3. Chargers -4.5 is one of those where I looked at it and I was like, this seems too easy. Now, obviously, the Chargers
It was.
are, exactly. I mean, I know you love the Chargers. I've lamented on the Chargers plenty, but this was one where it's like I'm comfortable taking the Chargers, very comfortable taking the Chargers up against this Panthers team. And Bryce Young looks absolutely awful. I'm not sure what they're doing, but now the news came out after this loss. He's benched, and Andy Dalton is coming out.
Red Rocket.
He is gonna he is gonna start week 3. Um, to be honest with you, I don't know why you don't just. I guess you want to be competitive, sure, but why not just run the season out with Bryce Young and work your way towards another quarterback? Because it ain't happening.
Right. I think the problem here in Carolina is everybody realizes they're after their own job at this point, and it's too early in the season to be doing this. If you're not a rookie head coach who's like, oh shit, I might only get 1 year at this, let me ride with the veteran and see what happens. But they do have some weapons. I mean, Xavier Legette was the 33rd overall pick in the draft. They do have Adam Thielen. They have a couple of, wide receivers. They've got, I know, it's funny, but Jonathan Brooks will come back at running back. I agree with you, though. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know who Andy Dalton is. You know he's not going to get you anywhere. And you wasted a first round pick on Bryce Young last year. Try to develop him. And if you can't develop him, don't stunt his career growth because you're worried about your job security. But that's what you get when you get a poorly run organization. You get people at all levels freaking out, doing the wrong thing, trying to look out for number one. And I think that's what's happening here. But Bryce does look lost. And I don't think that it's completely his fault. I really don't. I mean, 2 years in, going from Nick Saban to having two different head coaches who clearly don't know really what they're doing. And, he clearly doesn't know what he's doing on the field because of it. So,
Yeah.
you know, they mortgaged the future for him. You might as well let it ride for 2 years, and see what happens. And then at least Dave Canales can be like, ah, that wasn't my dude, and they can move on from him then. But what are you doing with Andy Dalton then? You think he's going to win games for you? Maybe. Maybe he won't go over, but you're still going to be the same bottom feeder team. You might as well develop your guy and give him game action.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they think the best thing for him is to sit and watch a veteran.
Possibly.
Possible, but I don't know. I mean, and the fact that it's just it's rough. I mean, you look at the you look at
Feel
the
bad for him.
you look at the Bears now, and they're in such a better position because of that trade. And their offense hasn't looked great. Caleb Williams, it's 2 weeks, whatever. But that was just it's gonna go down as maybe the worst trade in the history of sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up
I mean,
there.
you take Andy Dalton, you insert him on the Bears right now. That's possibly a Super Bowl team, but the other way around, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, they have too many holes. And so this was a kind of easy pickings. Now you have to wonder next week. But I didn't look at the line yet. But the Panthers with Andy Dalton, are they going to be as easy? Um, I don't know. It's the Raiders. So I don't know what the line is right now. I could look it up, but Raiders looked pretty good last week. They're they're decent. I would want to take them, but and it's at home in Las Vegas too. I might if it's around -4.5, -5, I'd probably take it again.
Oh,
But
100%.
Yeah. But Dalton started, I think, one game for the Panthers last year, and he threw for over 300 yards and two touchdowns. So, like, I might stay away from it just because Dalton, he's not that old. He's 36. I mean, the guy's 5 years, he's our age. He's 5 years younger than Aaron Rodgers, my quarterback. So, I mean, the guy can still perform. He's been a good quarterback in the league for a long, long time. So, but they have so many holes. Their defense is awful. Their offensive line is not good. It's gonna be a disaster there for a while. So I'm happy.
I
Happy
agree.
to win. I won money. So
Yeah. And if you don't take the Raiders, if it is under a touchdown, I will go full head on into the fray on that. I do not believe that this team is ready to win. They don't have a back yet. Once they get Brooks back, they might have an effective running game, but I mean the Raiders look decent, right?
yeah, no, it was good this week. Try to find the odds. I don't know where the hell my phone is, so it's not.
Yeah, before I say that, let's take a look at that. Can't log into my sportsbook account. I'm
So it
probably
so it
so
opened.
mad at me. I'm just taking so much money.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. So the Raiders open at -7, but when they announced Dalton as a starter, it dropped to -5.5.
I hate 5.5s, but
Hey,
I think I'll take that one. We'll
yeah,
see. I'll see if it moves a half a
it'll
point.
be under consideration, that's for sure.
If it goes to 6, I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have our picks out Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Moving on. Vikings 23, 49ers 17. This was a loss for you. You took Niners -4.5. It was a loss for me because I picked the Niners in Survivor. It was a shocker. It was, yeah, there's three teams left in our Survivor League. Yeah, you're one of them. But
I
yeah,
picked that at 4 o'clock, dude, though, right before the 4 o'clock games. I was like,
I
oh,
know you
oh, I'm about to
texted
get on a
me.
plane. Forgot about this. But
Yeah,
anyhow,
so it's no CMC, but Jordan Mason had a great game, 100 yards and a touchdown, 20 carries. But Sam Darnold taking apart the Niners defense, something the Jets could not do week one. I kind of blame the Jets for me picking the Niners in Survivor because I was like, oh, if we can't beat them, no way Sam Darnold can, man. Stupid ass. I'm so stupid. But I mean,
overthinking it there.
nobody saw this coming. And
No,
props to the Vikings. Justin Jefferson is unbelievable. So if you can get the ball up to him, which Darnold can behind a good offensive line, they connected on a big, was it 80-yard touchdown?
something
Um,
like that.
yeah, Vikings look good. I don't really know. It's they're 2-0.
Yeah, I give kudos to Kevin O'Connell. I think Sam Darnold, didn't get a fair shot in the NFL. But it also must be nice to throw to Justin Jefferson. So, I'll take that with a grain of salt. But I take a beating on this one. I'm not going to go undefeated this year, thanks to Sam Darnold. So, yeah, Sammy ball game. But I did not expect this. You get 300 yards passing and 100 yards from Mason. You have 300 yards passing from Birdie and 100 yards from Purdy and 100 yards from Mason. I don't know where the loss was in this. To be honest with you, I didn't see a lot of this game, and I kind of thought this was my lock of the week. I was like, oh, this was a steal. I can't believe Rich took it, or you didn't take it too. I can't believe Rich didn't take it.
I
Um,
wanted to take it, but I had already taken Steelers as well along with you. And then I was like, I like the Titans. That didn't work out. And then I saw that Chargers line. So it worked
yeah,
out fine for me, but
for sure.
it worked out better for me that I avoided.
Yeah, this was my loss. And you know what? I'll own this one because it didn't make any sense to me.
Oh, and it's funny because you said you look at the numbers and Debo had over 100 yards, Mason had 100 yards rushing, Purdy 300 yards.
I don't know
But
what happened.
yeah, but just one touchdown for Purdy, and a pick. The defense was fine. I mean, Fred Warner, Nick
Oh
Bosa,
my God,
that if it's TJ Watt is the defensive player of the year, I think, of the league. But Fred Warner and Nick Bosa on the Niners are right there. And the Niners will be fine, but CMC is out for a couple more weeks. But he wasn't the problem in this game. It's Mason looks really good. So I think they'll be
yeah,
able to survive it. They'll probably be able to rebound. But Vikings are gonna be legit. Now I think I have to recalibrate what I think my perception of the Vikings because I was kind of like Sam Darnold, and happening. He looks great.
It's happening, people. It's happening.
Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. The only one that's not working out is Zach Wilson.
And Aaron Jones is a decent contributor. He had 5 catches for 36 yards and a few rushes for 9 rushes for 32 yards. I mean, that's nothing to shake your nose at. That helps you control the clock. And Darnold doesn't turn the ball over. He's not seeing any ghosts.
Yeah, no ghost. No ghost. It's
No
not.
ghosts.
It's not New England, thankfully. Well, on to another one of your wins and an even better one. You doubled up. Commanders 21, Giants 18. That's the old you win money on your team. I mean, beautiful, beautiful look there for you. Weird game. Commanders scored
Yes.
21 points without one touchdown. And the kicker that they basically signed off the couch uh, did not miss
Austin Seibert, baby.
seven field goals. What a win. And the Giants are a shit show. They lost their kicker, who was already dealing with an injury at the start
Yeah.
of the game, injured in like warm-ups too. They
Gotta
kept
have a
doing it,
backup.
and then he was hurt on the opening kickoff. So it's like you gotta have a why do teams go in without a backup kicker? I just you're throwing the game. You're like, oh, I'll just go for two, just go for two. Yeah, what about field goals? You're blowing the game with that. And Brian Daboll, well, my Giants fans buddies are texting me, and Owen buddy sent me a clip of him in press conference, and Mike Francesa is talking about how he basically looks like he just he's miserable, like he looks dead inside. It's
And Dable does? Yeah, because he's dealing with Daniel Jones and he let Saquon walk on him. Of course he's dead inside. He's like got Malik Neighbors to look forward to, but outside of that, that man needs to figure a lot of things out, and it might be his next destination. So I'd be feeling dead inside too. He's probably ripping the vape like he was at the draft. So yeah, no, I don't know why people don't have a backup kicker. If it was me, I'd have some Australian rules rugby punter guy be my punter who could kick field goals because he kicked rugby balls through the uprights before. They just have somebody to back them up. Why the hell not? But yeah, Seibert's coming out party, baby. That's why you keep kickers in fantasy. But what a weird ass game. No touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, like, dude, I'm telling everybody, this is RG3 light. The guy, like, incredible passes every once in a while, but like doesn't want to run, but needs to start running and needs to run more. And then he doesn't know how to slide, and then he's just going to get hurt. It's going to be the same thing. But we'll see. They won the game. I took it money line because it was 1.5, and I was like, I don't even trust that. And honestly, the game could have came down to a point if it was a field goal kicking fest like it was. So I'm happy I took the money line. I'm happy the Commanders got the win, and I just don't really see where the Giants get wins this year. If they can't beat Minnesota, which who now looks good actually, but if they can't beat Washington, like you're gonna have to come up with a win here at some point. And if you're winning despite Daniel Jones, you got to do something because in New York, if you go, one and whatever, you're not keeping your job at all. So,
it's already
but
too. It's already chaos on in the
yeah,
radio.
I mean the percentages of people making the playoffs after going 0-2 are pretty low. I don't know the exact number, but I heard it on the radio, and that's a fact. But no, it was a good win and a much needed win for Dan Quinn and the Manders, and got to do it at home too, which is great. So we love that.
Yeah, Francis talking about Brian Dable. I see a guy who wants to jump off a bridge. That's what he thinks his demeanor is complete. And he did like press conference. He was a rough look. He looked absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this for a long time, Pat. My focus is on our football team.
He won Coach of the Year his first year with the Giants, I think. How do you go from that to what's happening now? It's kind of shocking because when they brought him in and they kind of overachieved his first year, I was like, oh, they got a great coach. They always do this. The Giants are the kind of the standard of New York football, I guess you'd say. It's when you compare them with the Jets, there's really not much. You don't have to have that much success, but they've won Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls in my lifetime. They've had plenty of winning seasons. They've been that kind of standard, but right now it is it's messy and it's a weird spot. I can't recall really the last time as a Jets fan where our team has been in such a better
He,
position than the Giants. I'll
he
keep it
got
at
him this year.
not
Yep.
gonna laud the Jets just yet, and we can get to that later. But it's a bit of a mess for the Giants, and we'll see how long Jones keeps his job, and we'll see how long Dayball keeps his job. But Malik Neighbors looks awesome, so they got a weapon there. That's not a shocker. Everybody, it was kind of a consensus pick. They nabbed that one, but Singletary looks good too. He had another good game. It's
Curiosity here. What would you think? Do you think they would ever fire Shane and keep Dable? Get rid of the GM who let Saquon walk and who paid Daniel Jones and keep the coach because they think the coach knows what he's doing?
I tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, Shane looked awful in that Hard Knocks like off season, which I didn't watch, but there were so many clips of Shane just like sounding very stupid. And then the whole Saquon thing was an embarrassment. John Mara, the owner said he'll lose sleep if Saquon goes to the Eagles. Sure enough, he goes to the Eagles. And it was looking really bad up until
Gotta
Saquon
write your
dropped.
check. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing. Now, I mean, Giants fans could have a little laugh after what happened Monday night, where Saquon dropped what would have been the game-winning catch, and then the Kirk Cousins and the Falcons ran down the field and beat them.
Jeez.
So they can enjoy that a little bit. I saw that on social media, but yeah, it's a mess right now. And for your Commanders, like you said, I mean, Jaden Daniels looks fun, very good. The defense,
He's fun. Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, is he a quarterback? Is he your quarterback
I
of
mean,
sure? I mean, you
he
hope.
took 4 years to compile Heisman stats in college. He wasn't the guy that came in that everybody was like, wow, he spent time at Arizona State, which was great. He was coached by Herm Edwards and Antonio Pierce, like, decent head coaching staff that was filled with NFL talent. They leave, transfers to LSU. He plays with Malik Neighbors, and I'm wondering if, maybe he was just around so much talent that that's when he peaked. And hopefully we get there where we have enough around him. But I think we do now. Eckler looks decent. Brian Robinson rushed for 1 billion yards, and you still got Terry McLaurin. But we shipped off Jahan Dotson. I think that was fine, but we need another option for this man, and Zach Ertz ain't doing it. So it's, you know, he's at the mercy of what he's got out there to work with. So I want him to run. I want him to just fucking run. I'm sorry, just run. Just take advantage of your rookie season and just say, hey, I'm just going to gain as many yards however I can. And then guess what? If it doesn't work out, you have a high draft pick, draft a receiver next year, and then you're a great passer. They're not moving on from him at any time. So, you know,
Yeah,
make plays, win games, and we'll love you.
yeah, yeah. It's there for him. But yeah, you need a few more weapons and it'll take some time, but at least it'll be fun to watch in the meantime.
Yep.
Last of our picks was a loss for me, but it was a win in my book. Jets 24, Titans 17. So the Jets have cost me money both weeks since I bet on them week 1 and bet against them week 2. This is what the Jets do to me. Even when they win, they give me some sort of misery. But happy at the end because the Jets won the football game. Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers for the first time. I've been
He
waiting.
did.
I've been
He
waiting to
did.
watch Aaron Rodgers play quarterback for the New York Jets. And I feel like this was the first game I actually got to see it. Week 1 was a bit of a mess. He didn't look great. Week 2, he looked much better. He's leaning on not only Brees Hall, but Braylon Allen, man. Wow, I underestimated that draft pick. I think it was what 4th rounder out of Wisconsin,
Yep.
and he's a beast. That's impressive. He gets the ball and just takes off, and looks like a he's jacked too. It's a big boy. So
Wisconsin, he drank a lot of milk.
yeah, that's a two-headed monster right there that I was underestimating. I know a lot of people were hyped about Braylon Allen and liked him a lot, but this looks like a real weapon back there, which we need because we once again have no tight ends. We never use the tight end. We don't It's a non-existent position offensively for us. And him and Garrett Rodgers and Garrett Wilson haven't quite clicked yet. He did lead the team in receptions, in yards, I think, but it wasn't a huge game. It's one of those things that this look bad early on. The Titans got out to a 7-0 lead, and the Jets looked lost again. But Will Levis gave the Jets the game. They gave it right back to him. Two bad turnovers, two dumb mistakes that put the Jets right back in it, and
What did
they
you call him?
after
The
that.
guy with the dude arm.
We had the discourse last year. Is he a guy or a dude? And we both said dude. And
Yeah.
he does have a dude arm, like he can throw, but wow, he's playing like a guy and making decisions like a dumbass. It's and his coach openly being like, what are you doing? His coach came after the play. He's like, what? Like it was visible. And the coach afterwards said, didn't mince his words. It was pretty obvious, and Levis has to own that. But he's got to play better. They're not anything special. This team they have, but Calvin Ridley looks good. He made an unbelievable catch through two defenders. It looked like a Sauce was there too, and Sauce had been basically like walked away from the play because Ridley was on the floor, but it went through the other DB's hands right into Ridley, and he scored a touchdown, and he had a
He
rushing.
probably had the over.
Yeah, he had a rushing touchdown as well. And Tony Pollard's looking good. Um, they're okay, but with Will Levis has to stop with these mistakes, or else they're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah, I think I think he's a young quarterback. The thing that's working against him is he was kind of drafted for Vrabel's offense, which would have, protected his, decision making a little bit more. So who knows if he's the type of guy that they want in that position. I think he's got all the talent in the world, but like you said, it's decision making, and one of them was directly to the defense. It was brutal. I still like him. I still do.
Oh, I do too. He's got an arm. It's there. Just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
The young quarterbacks thrown into the fray here, and they're struggling.
Yeah. Braylon Allen's decent though, man. I honestly, I think a lot of people lose sight of the fact that like there's an individual there who is really, really good because there's been so many running backs that have come through Wisconsin. You just kind of lump them all in together. You could, ever since Ron Dane, you've had Jonathan Taylor, Monty Ball, you've had who's the other guy? Melvin Gordon. Like you've got all these like top tier running backs that have come through Wisconsin. So yeah, the Braylon Allen pick probably flew under the radar for a lot of people, but he's worked up there. They work out with the linemen. Like the running backs are part of the line unit, which is a cool thing. They recruit that way, and I think he can be a difference maker for you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Just wait for Garrett Wilson to have his 10 catch game, and wait for that one game where Aaron Rodgers finds a tight end for 3 touchdowns. He does it every year. He finds whoever that big guy from Green Bay was. But he seems to always love them in one certain game.
Yeah,
But I think the Jets will be pretty decent, and Rodgers looked much, much better than week one.
much better. The defense looked better after a slow start. We did lose Jermaine Johnson on the edge, and I feel like they're gonna have to pay Reddick at this point. Because you
You
lost.
want him though.
Yes, I want players. Look, maybe I'm wrong, but we need talent, and we know he's talented, and we need a rusher on the edge. We lost Johnson. Huff is in Philly, although he's not playing too well the first 2 weeks. But yeah, they have to bring him in. Just pay him. We need him. We need bodies. If we're this is a win now team. This is win this season or next season, or else you're looking for a quarterback again. So
That doesn't go too well for them.
no. So those were our bets, both 2-1. I before we get into guy or dude, and we'll finish with good, bad, shitty. I do want to do while we're on the topic of the Jets, since we're recording this Tuesday night and it'll be out Wednesday, timing wise works out for a little Thursday night football preview. Jets Patriots
Oh boy.
at MetLife. The Jets are 6-point favorites. I am not touching the line. I'm not doing it. I may not even bet this game. So for so bad, I might need you to come in and make these picks here because
Be the ombudsman.
yeah. I may take a prop or something. I'm sure I will. I'm psychotic, but my emotions will be hinging on this game. If they can't beat the Patriots again this season, it's at home. I think I said it last year. They couldn't do it and the season was over. I I don't see them rebounding from a loss this week. Maybe
What's
I'm
the line?
overstating it. Maybe it's more emotion. 6 points right now, I'm seeing. I think it opened at 7, went down to 6. I This is an absolute must-win
Two
game.
hours ago on CBS, they said it was 3.5. So I'll have to look at like what the book is, but that's within an article. The guy could have written it a day ago. So
Yeah.
um,
I'm
but
on
it
action.
says 2 hours.
I'm on action right now. They got it at -6.
Yeah, well, that's a lot different. So we'll see. I think the Jets will win this one at home. When they go to New England, that might be a different story. But at that point, the Jets could be a different team. They could all be clicking, have all that chemistry, have the momentum and everything. Right now, the momentum's in the Patriots' favor, and they look decent. They utilized Hunter Henry and the tight ends, and it looked like the old New England offense that, Gerard on the teams that Gerard Mayo played on, where they used the tight ends and ran the football. So if that's the case, I mean, the game plan to beat the Jets for the 49ers was to run it right down their throat. And it kind of worked last week too. So 6 is a lot for me on this one. But home game for the Jets, Rodgers looking decent. And knowing that the Patriots defense isn't what it was last year, which was actually surprisingly impressive. They don't have Judon anymore and whatnot. So I would probably lean Jets if I was going to take it, but like you said, I think this might be a prop worthy game, and I might be looking at the over under instead.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Jets Pats games, I mean, last year they were very low scoring. I think one of the games was like 10-6. It's I think I what's the I don't know if I can find the over under here. But it can't be more than 30. I would say like probably 38 and a half or something like that. Um Let me see, I'm on action here. 37 and a half, so I was close. So
Yeah, I may take the over on that one, just because if Rhamondre Stevenson can run straight down the middle on the Jets, it's going to bring up the linebackers, and then what they're doing is bringing it to the tight ends, and that's the whole game plan from the old Bill Belichick offense.
yeah,
Streaks with the tight ends, run it up the middle. Streaks with the tight ends, run up the middle. Have a game changer on the outside, and a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over.
yeah.
That's all Tom Brady really was for a long time, and then
They
he
won
became
all
an
the games.
uber talented quarterback.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think I might go Jets on that.
Yeah, so let's see. You wanna make the pick? You wanna commit to it? I will have our picks for Thursday night. I mean, we've been putting them out Thursday afternoon, but we could go get them out Wednesday. I know you like getting on them early anyway. It's
I do. But I feel like this one might move the opposite way. So I might want to wait for 6 if it's a field goal
let's
game.
wait. Let's wait. But we're both leaning Jets for
Right.
and
This is gonna, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, I want to know. I want to know maybe Braylon Allen anytime touchdown might be in play because his odds are probably not going to be his odds are probably going to be good again. Let's see. Betting Pros has him at
There we go.
plus
I
310.
remembered my password.
Nice, proud of you.
It's always good, right?
Yeah, that is good. Braylon Allen plus 310 on an anytime touchdown. Not too bad.
Not for me. It's not for me. If anything, I'm going to look towards Garrett Wilson number of catches, since he's been down a little bit. And I'd probably lean towards the Jets on the spread.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
let's see what we got here for the over under for Garrett Wilson. Just because I feel like he is so talented and creates a lot of separation, and Rodgers will look for him, but he's been blanketed by the 49ers, which is to be expected. And then By the Titans, he only had what, 4 catches, I think, something like that. It was pretty low. So that leads me to believe it might not be through the roof for this game, which is probably going to be expected to be a ground game, judging from the totals that are out there.
I'm seeing
So,
5.5 receptions at -130.
I mean, I would take that. I would take that. What's his yard total?
64.5.
Oh, that's even sexier. I
That
might lean that way.
we might hammer that because that's the over
Yeah,
right now is -115. He's got to break out. I mean, he's got to have a big play soon.
exactly.
Patriots secondary isn't anything impressive. I mean, look, this is the Jets fan coming out here. This needs to be a win, bottom line, for the Jets. I want to see domination. I don't think the Patriots are going to be good this year. They've played well the first 2 weeks. It's a division game. I'm not going to expect it, but man, that would make me really happy.
Honestly, I'm gonna expect it, dude, because look at how Rodgers has treated the Bears in his career at Green Bay. He loved owning the Bears. Like he literally played to the reporters on owning the Bears. Like it was like a joke. And I think if he wants to win over these fans and prove that he's worthy of being the Jets quarterback, he's gonna dominate New England, who he fully well understands the history of literally everything in the world and the way things work in the world everywhere in the universe. So he's got to understand that dominating the Patriots is going to look really freaking cool to the biggest city in America. You know what I mean?
He'll
So
get
I
sober.
could see this being an Aaron Rodgers ego maniac show.
Yeah, but
We'll
it's
see.
can the coaching staff do it?
Saul looks bad. Saul looks bad. Hackett is a hack. He was been bearded by Rodgers for so long. Rodgers needs to just have one of those games where he audibles every freaking play,
Yeah,
which is why he likes Nathaniel Hackett. So,
so fun watching him read the defense, man. It's
oh,
the
because
quarterback
he's
play.
out there doing algorithms, and you're like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
go for it.
I wanted this for 2 years almost, a year and a half at least. I was waiting for it. I finally got to see it once, week 2. I want to see it again this week, and it's happening very quickly. Quick turnaround here, so we'll see.
His passing yards over under is 211.5.
I know he hasn't eclipsed 200 yet, I don't think. He did
You don't
not.
think he will though, or should, or would?
I don't. Probably not. I'm not going to take a lot of scoring props. I'm not going to bet this game heavy. I'm really not. A lot of that'll be my emotion, but it's a division game. We've seen the Jets offense look good and look not good. We've seen the defense look beatable. The Patriots could be 2-0. Could easily have been 2-0 there. But they lost in overtime. I don't know. I don't think they're good. We're the better team, the far better team on
Yeah,
paper.
I'm looking at these Rodgers passing stats. The 211.5 yards, 1.5 touchdowns is plus 120. Player pass completions is 20.5. Honestly, all three of those for an Aaron Rodgers with the Garrett Wilson. I mean, and Lazard actually catching balls like Brees Hall out of the backfield and a run game with Braylon Allen to open it up. I mean, those all look good to me. But the Garrett Wilson yards might be the best one.
Yeah, I'm on that, and I'll rubber stamp whatever. If you're going pro Jets, pro Rodgers, I'm stamp of approval for me.
I like the completions at 20.5. Even if they're short, even if they're swing passes, I mean, they're going to want to get them going.
It's fine.
Why wouldn't you want to get Aaron Rodgers going? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
let's go. All right, so we'll see Thursday night. Should be fun. Either that or I'll be
Broncos.
extremely miserable. So, uh, moving on. Week 2 is in the books, and we want to dig in maybe a little guy or dude.
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal guy. Nothing special about me. How do you do, dude?
He's a dude.
To move like that.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Chris, would you like to go first with
I would, because it's going to be a great segue and you're going to love me for this, Mr. Producer.
I'm ready.
Guy or dude? Rhamondre Stevenson.
Ooh, I think he's a dude. I think he's been a dude in waiting for a little while, and now they're relying on him and giving him that bulk. And he looks like a dude. And the way that the Jets have struggled against the run so far, those are props that I may actually look at. I'm pretty sure he's at like 80.5 or something on the run line, which is kind of crazy. But he's looking very good. That offense is gonna basically run through him, but he looks in his prime, and he looks like a dude. Now, look, dude's got to do it for a little while, and he's this is his fourth year in the league. He has 1,000-yard season, but he's already at 46 carries through two games. He's getting a lot of work. He's already got 2 touchdowns. He's never had more than 5 in a season. Um, he's already actually fumbled twice, but he hasn't lost either one of them. And he's known for holding on to the ball. He's only lost 2 fumbles in his career. So that's to me a dude. I gotta, as much as I hate to do it, the way I'm looking at it right now, he's the only one on that offense that's actually scaring me. So he's getting my dude approval right now. Let's say,
Well, yeah, is that why he's a dude though? Or is he just a product of the team?
possibly, but if you do it, if you're if you're a running back doing it, you're a product of the team, whatever. I mean, he in 2022, he had 1,000 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry. And that was with a bad offense. It's a good offensive line, I guess. They're opening holes for him, but you look at him and he's tough to take down. He holds on to the football. He can catch the ball. He's got it all. He's there's not a lot of bell cows in the league right now, and he's one of them. So for me, that gives me that dude feeling.
All right, fair enough. I say guy.
That's fair.
I think you could plug in a few different people who may or may not still be free agents and put them in the same type of offense behind the same offensive line, and they'll do the same thing. I think he's a good running back. I just don't think he's a great running back just yet. If he does it season long, I could eat these words. But I just haven't seen enough from him to call him a dude where he's doing it alone. And, we'll see. But I just don't think he is a bell cow on any other team.
I think he could be. He's got the size for it. He's been durable, relatively throughout his career. He's had some injuries, but look, you're asking me right now, is he you look at running backs across the league, he's in that dude category right now, and there's not a ton of them.
I mean, he played a junior college before, wasn't a top recruit long time ago. Doesn't have the pedigree. Played at Oklahoma, Great Plains State, high flying offense. So maybe he's a good pass blocker. I don't know, but I just don't think in terms of running back, I have seen enough yet to say, hey, I'm going to remember Rhamondre Stevenson in 10 years.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. We'll see. For now, he scares me. Leading up to that game.
Of course, you're facing him in 2 days.
Well, yeah. So I mean, yeah, you asked a question right now. That's my feeling.
That.
He's
Good
that
point.
on the offense right now.
Touche.
Who
Jury's still out.
Fair enough. Who else you got?
You want one more?
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins. Guy or dude?
J.K. Dobbins to me is a guy that look.
We're gonna be opposite again then.
I don't know, just like maybe it's the injuries. He's been in the league this is his 4th year in the league. He's only played 26 games. He's just undersized. He's gonna take a lot of hits. He hasn't dealt with them. Well, he's got a bad Achilles. Still, he's looked great so far, and he's getting the workload. For me, he's not that dude. He's a very good guy. He's a change of pace back for me. He's not the number one. He's not.
Change of pace back. Write a letter to J.K. Dobbins and tell him how you feel. Holy shirt. That is not how I would see him. I think he's a game-changing back. And I like that he's small because he's built like a bowling ball. And when he rips one, he can fly past defensive backs. But he's strong enough to take some hits. He's had weird injuries too, ligament injuries, stuff like that. They haven't been like crazy injuries, but it's a valid argument. He hasn't done enough in the NFL. But I think if he finishes his career under Jim Harbaugh and the Gus Bus doesn't take over, or they end up, with Blake Corum or some other guy like, from Michigan or whatever, I think J.K. Dobbins could have a serious career, or finish to his career here. Still pretty young. He hits guys hard. He initiates the contact, and that's where you get injuries, of course, but that's the shit that Harbaugh loves and is going to keep getting him the snaps. So I love to flip into the end zone too. Anybody who does that, I'm like, you're just playing a video game at that point. You just hit a celebration button and you're just dominating. So that gets guy vibes to me.
All right, Chris Carey likes J.K. Dobbins. Where did he go to school?
Oh, big surprise. Ohio State. That means I've seen a lot of them. And when he was a freshman, there was a lot of talk of, hey, do I need to know this guy's name? And yeah, you do. Well, you did at least, but he got hurt a lot. So he was a durable back in college, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt anymore. But I think just the way that he runs is slashing, and he's got breakaway speed.
Loves his Buckeyes. Hey, look, I hope he
I'm
has.
predictable, man. I'm consistent. That's what we said. Consistency is all you want.
It's true. Very true. Like it. All right. Those are your two?
Those are my two. I could go for no. Let's go. Those are my two.
All right. So I want to do something a little different. I want to look at the 2-0 teams and the 0-2 teams in the league. And I want to pick one team that we're going to call a dude, one 2-0 team, or an 0-2 team that we're saying they're a dude. They're legit, or they're going to bounce back from that 0-2, or they're a guy, they're either overperforming or they're right where they should be. Now, I'll start since I know I just threw a lot at you.
I think I'm prepared for this.
All right.
Go ahead, though.
So, for me, we got the Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chargers, Chiefs, Vikings, Saints, Bucks, and Seahawks are all 2-0 teams. I am going to go with a guy, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are not for real. They are not the defense that they've been. Geno Smith is a fine quarterback. They have offensive talent, don't get me wrong. They'll win some games, but to me, they're more of a 500 team, maybe sneak into the playoffs. They're not a juggernaut team in the NFL. When you look at the other 2-0 teams, there's some juggernauts there, but I picked the guy out of that list of 2-0s, and outside of being kind of obvious going against the Vikings or maybe the Bucks, maybe the Steelers I could pick on. I'm picking on the Seahawks. I don't think they belong there. They're my guy among the 2-0 teams. Do you have a guy on the 2-0 side?
I do.
Man,
You want to hear it?
I do.
It's not my Seabirds. I love them. I miss Pete. I definitely miss Pete. But it's got to be the Vikings to me.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Vikings are for real with Sam Darnold as much as I like him. I think that they are going to be just above 500, but I just don't necessarily believe in them just yet. Like I said, it must be nice to throw to Justin Jefferson. They do have Hawkinson coming back, but at the same time, I just don't think that this team is ready yet in a year, but I don't think they're ready yet. I think they're faking it a little bit. They beat the Giants, who are god awful. And I think that they're sheep in wolf's clothes. Is that right? Yeah, that's
Wolf.
right.
Oh yeah, sheep and wolves close. Yeah,
Yeah, opposite.
good job. Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with that.
impressive.
I'm gonna go with the Vike Dogs.
Nice. All right, so 2-0 teams. Who's your dude?
I mean, this is I don't want to say
It could be
it's not easy. I want to double down on the Chargers. I
okay.
do.
All right.
But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
The
I
Buck.
think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are talented at so many positions. And if you get Baker Mayfield's heart behind the line, they might lose one game or two games for you trying too hard. But I think ultimately he can also will you to some victories. I think the combination of Irving and Rashad White rather than just Rashad White is a little bit better than last year. Godwin's not dropping balls like he did at the end of last year, and Mike Evans is just a cheat code. They also have Vita Vea on the defense and Antoine Winfield Jr. They're stacked just like the Steelers are on defense. So I think I like the Saints too. And this was the bad division last year, and it might be the good division now. But I don't want to face the Buccaneers ever. I think they have it figured out how to win football games on the ground, in the air, on the defense, and the special teams. I think all around Baker's their weakness, and right now he's a QB1 for sure. He's earning every dollar. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers as much as I wanted to double down on the Chargers and be like, yeah, let's go. I don't. They might be a year or two away.
I like it. I mean, for me, there's obvious candidates. There's the Chiefs. They're legit. You don't have to talk too much about them. The Texans are absolutely dudes. There's no real debate there.
Yep.
The Bills. Bills coming into the year, there were some doubters there. But I look at Josh Allen and he just automatically makes them a dude. For me, I mean, the Bills are now with 2 out and Miami reeling. The Bills are the team I look at in the AFC East as a Jets fan and say, all right, it's their division again. We got to beat them. And you got to beat Josh Allen. And yeah, he can make his mistakes. He gets a little crazy, but there's really nobody else in the league, maybe one or two guys that can do what he does from that position. Their defense is looking decent, but they have weapons and they have Josh Allen and that's their dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's so good, man. I think losing Diggs was addition by subtraction. It can be just Josh Allen now. Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah, I think
it's greatness.
Yeah. The Steelers might be dudes, but I think they're another. I was skeptical, but that defense is so good that if Watt stays healthy, they'll win at least 9 games, maybe more. Tomlin's streak will stay alive. They'll be above 500 and
incredible.
It's incredible. Incredible. All right, so to the 0-2 teams now. We want one guy and one dude. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, the Broncos, the Giants, the Rams, and the Panthers. This one might be a little easier when you look at it. There's some teams that you kind of know, all right, they're 0-2 and they're probably not going to win many games. Then there's some 0-2 teams that you know are going to be better. But yeah, let's have at it. Who's your 0-2 guy, and who's your 0-2 dude?
I'm gonna go with Guy first, and I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit, and that's the Ravens. MVP, double tight ends, Zay Flowers, incredible receiving core. They've like 4 first-round picks in the receiving core. They bring in Derrick Henry. I think Justice Hill is a great change of pace back. They look good. Lamar needs to be a little bit better. I think it's the Ravens. I mean, I don't think they belong at 0-2. I think they were expected to be Super Bowl contenders this year.
So we're calling them 0-2 guys because they're actually dudes. Is that what we're doing? Or are we just going to put them in our dude category?
I think they're my 0-2 dudes. I think that's the way we should call it. Is this is a dude team. This is a wolf wearing sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Opposite way.
Yes.
I did it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks, buddy. But yeah, no, they have too much talent and too good of a head coach, and they've been there, done that to be 0-2 and be the team that's counted out. So I went with them as the dude.
Well,
I'm going to give you my 0-2 guy.
yeah, give it to me.
Titans. They're right where they belong.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants obviously are right where they belong.
Giants,
But
it's pretty obvious.
yeah, I don't want to take them. I'm going to say the Titans. New head coach, Will Levis needs to develop. He's, fallen victim to the turn and burn the head coaches after the quarterback was drafted. And, it's not hockey, people. You got to sit with your players and, actually like work it out. It's not all about line changes and just filling in gaps and stuff like that. A head coach and a quarterback in the NFL need to be in sync. And if this isn't the guy that he chose, that stinks. They've got talent. They lose Henry. I think they expected this to be a rebuilding year, a down year, and I think they're right where they belong.
Yeah, agreed.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. So obviously, we know the Panthers, we know the Giants. They're bad. I'm gonna go as a guy. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think they're gonna struggle. I just there's too many injuries. You lost Puka week 1. Now you lost Cooper Kupp. There's injuries on the offensive line. Stafford could go down at any moment. Defense doesn't look great. I think they're in serious trouble. From the expectation this year was much better than it was last year. But now it's not looking good. Kyron Williams doesn't look great. It's I think they're guys. I think they belong in the 0-2 category here.
Yeah, they're not good.
No,
Definitely missing Aaron Donald too.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't? Aside from quarterbacks.
I miss him. I wasn't even a fan.
Yeah.
Like I was an incredible football player.
Yeah, man. You love it. All right. For my dude, I can't pick the Bengals because I think they're in trouble too. I don't like what I've seen from them at all. I don't
like the Bengals actually.
I mean,
you like them. You'll like them once Chase and Higgins are both out there and Burrow's slinging it.
that would be
They are missing Mixon though.
That would be the obvious pick among the group. They're kind of the only pick. It's the Bengals or the Jags. And I don't like the Jags to start. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think they'll bounce back. Look, Ravens, Bengals, those are the obvious two that are 0-2 that you're surprised with. They'll bounce back. The rest of the 0-2 teams, the Jaguars maybe could be all right. The Colts maybe, but the Giants, Panthers, Titans, Broncos, legit bad. Colts don't look good. And the Rams are in serious trouble. So
yeah. Yep.
All right. Thanks for indulging me there. I wanted to kind of look.
That was fun. That was a good idea.
Chock full of them. Okay, so moving on. We'll finish out. We'll touch on maybe some other sports, potentially a little more football. I mean, it's just that time. But yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I think I do too. But let's finish off with a little of the good, the bad, and the shitty. Christopher, start us off. Who's your good?
Can I talk about an Ohio State guy?
Of course you can.
You may think I'm going with Marvin Harrison, but I'm going with your shitty Seattle Seahawks and Jaxon Smith-Njigba. 16 targets, 12 catches, over 100 yards. Not sure if there was a touchdown in there, but against the Patriots, obviously the secondary is not too good. DK had a touchdown, I'm pretty sure. But I think that Jaxon Smith-Njigba is one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen catch the football. And if they're going to use him in a high volume situation, it's only going to be to their benefit and to Geno Smith's benefit. Incredible game. Kid can stop on a dime, can catch anything, has incredible body control. and Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave coming out of college said that's the best guy of the three of us. Like that's the dude among us. And he is a baller. And I think once Lockett is out of there or retires, or I don't know what happens. I mean, he's going to be a great number two behind a downfield option like a DK Metcalf. So I'm a huge fan of JSN. Jaxon Smith-Njigba has only scratched the surface of his NFL talent, his NFL potential, and it may not be in Seattle where he reaches his full potential, but holy crow, he is a good football player and a lot of fun to watch.
That
That's
was
my good.
that was one hell of a performance. You know, he kind of underperformed week one, and I was like, I think DK is going to go off. I don't know what he's going to do, and I have him in one league, and I benched him last minute, and it did not work out. I'm trying to think of who I put in, but it wasn't good. I did win.
Yeah.
But,
I will never forget the first touchdown catch. I saw him at Ohio State pull down with his opposite foot out of bounds. They called it out of bounds, had to review it, and he dragged his opposite foot. It was the most incredible contorting catch I have ever seen in my life, and I think I will ever see, because it was one side of the brain telling one thing to do one thing, and he was around here doing the phenomenal. And from that moment on, I've been in love with this guy, and I've just been waiting for him to pop. And he had an incredible game last game, and I think he's a good, and I think somebody just needs to let him loose.
who was that crazy catch against? So I could look it up.
I couldn't tell you, but just look up JSN first touchdown Ohio State.
Oh, his
It
first.
might not even been his first. It might not even been his first.
All right, that's fine. I'll figure it out. I'll find some cool JSN catch and I'll slip it.
Or you gonna Photoshop it in there or whatever. I don't even know. It's just...
Photoshop it in. Don't worry, I'll Photoshop it in. My good. Looking at baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. Just had clinched another 30-30 season. He becomes the first shortstop ever to have two 30-30 seasons, which is a stat that like kind of threw me back because there's so many great shortstops that have had power and speed combo, but that's legit. He's doing it at this age. He would be in the MVP talk if Aaron Judge didn't exist, but he probably having a better season than even Soto. But kind of crazy. I looked up A-Rod because that was my immediate thought. I was like, A-Rod didn't have multiple 30-30 seasons. He only had one. He had one 40-40 season, 98 in Seattle, and then he never eclipsed 30 steals again. I mean, he put on a couple pounds, so probably stopped running, started hitting 50 plus bombs a year. So that changed
helps.
the game. A-Rod had the ability to do it very easily, but changed his game and his approach, and we'll see. I mean, we might see it
And his dietary regimen.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, he was putting some things in his body that were not good. But props to Bobby Witt Jr. He's a big reason the Royals are likely in the playoffs as a wild card, and incredible at just how old is he? 20, 22?
Very, very young.
24. So
30-30, baby.
impressive.
He was it was him or Adley, and we went with Adley. And I'm happy we did, but Bobby Witt is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Incredible. He's good. All right, I'll keep it going with my bad. And my bad is NFL star injuries have already dominated. We're in week 2. We've lost Tua again to another concussion. CMC is on the IR, hasn't played a snap in a regular season. Cooper Kupp goes on IR along with Puka, who they lost last week. That's why the Rams are shit show. Joe Mixon got injured on a hip drop tackle the other night that was not called. That was supposed to be a point of emphasis this year. I never knew what a hip drop tackle was. NFL told me you're not allowed to do it.
It's a tackle.
Now I'm looking at it, and that one on Joe Mixon was probably what they were talking about, and it wasn't called, but whatever. Chiefs lost Isaiah Pacheco. The list goes on. It's it's sad, and you know what? I mean, these are guys that may have gotten hurt in the preseason if they played. I feel like it's kind of you're delaying the inevitable. You're keeping these guys in bubble wrap until they say, hey, go play NFL football at 100% now. Like there's no warm up anymore. There's training camp, whatever, but they're not in game speed. They're not in game shape right out of the gate. And you're seeing it with a lack of offense. You're seeing it with these injuries. Look, if you bring back, if you start playing preseason games again, somebody gets hurt, somebody's like, oh, well, there you go. But these injuries are happening, and they're going to happen either way. Tua, we all know, has a history there. CMC's been hurt plenty. Same with Cooper. It's just, I think you got to get these guys to play a little bit more in the preseason again. Get it ramped up.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It's a part of the sport. It's a violent sport. It's a physical sport. It's going to happen, but for people betting and playing fantasy and just want to watch the best of the best, it's difficult, but it's part of the game. I would like to see a little bit more of the preseason wrap ups again. It didn't feel like NFL football existed until week 1 this year.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. That's a good one, man. Definitely.
Who's your bad?
My bad. It was going to be the New York Football Giants. We talked about that already. My backup was the benching of Bryce Young. We've already talked about that. So I'm going to go with the rise of field goals in week 2. Overall, the NFL broke a record for field goals in a single week last week. So I think that speaks to coaching. Teams not having, the preseason could hurt red zone game planning. I have no idea. But ultimately, there's been an incredible rise in field goals this year already. And, it just speaks to, I think, what's going on in the NFL with less contact and really less risk happening, more running clocks, things like that. It's made for TV. And now I think it's too made for TV that we're getting more and more field goals than we should be. It's killed people betting and it's killed people in fantasy in the first 2 weeks. So I think it was 73 or 74 field goals or something stupid like that, which was a record that I read. I love it. I think kicking is a great part of the game, but in the NFL, they don't miss. And that's not exciting to me. You know what I mean? People are freaking automatic in the NFL, and that's pretty annoying.
It's cool seeing all these 50, 60 yarders just going like,
True.
through, like,
Oh, that one team lined up for like a 68-yarder and then called timeout. I think it was the Chiefs, maybe.
yeah, I mean, Butker's unbelievable. Justin Tucker looks like maybe he's fading a little bit, but he's still great. The Cowboys kicker, what the hell's his name?
Aubrey,
Yeah,
Brandon Aubrey.
might have the best leg in the league right now. He's unbelievable. He's the guy that can hit 60. I would love. Have we seen that? I think we talked about that. Have we seen the 70-yard field goal? Does it ever happen? Maybe this
No,
is
not yet. 68 was what the guy lined up for, and they said it was going to be an NFL record. So
Matt
might have
Prater.
been Nick Fierce.
Matt Prater. And that was in Denver. I think that was what Prater's prime. He exceeded 70 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
News to me.
Oh no, he attempted but didn't hit it. 66 yards, Justin Tucker. That's the record. So
Yeah.
I think that gets broken this year. I think we approach.
I mean, the field goals are on the rise, baby. Yeah, I think it happens, and you've got guys in the league who have booming legs, like booming legs.
Yeah. Right.
So
All right, who is your shitty?
my shitty is more like a team-based shitty, and I'm going to baseball here. It's going to be the Guardians. I really, really don't love that Stephen Kwan hit the IL for body fatigue in September. It's kind of stupid and silly, and I feel like that's just kind of messing with the rules and trying to keep him healthy until the playoffs or whatever. I get it. You're tired, but I don't know how many kids you have, Stephen Kwan. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like they're running through the finish line in Cleveland. And I think the third wild card contributes to stuff like that. And I don't really love it, especially from a fantasy perspective, especially when you got a guy like Stephen Kwan who made the All-Star game for doing something like that we were so pumped about. Tremendous batting average, and he's already sat out 5 games. Then they IL him. He's going to be out until the playoffs now, and it just doesn't seem right. You got to run through the finish line, in my opinion. And I get it. They do things differently in Cleveland, but I also don't love it. So that's kind of my shitty. Specifically Stephen Kwan, more so on the Cleveland Guardians.
Fair.
How
I
about you?
didn't even know they were doing that.
Shitty it up.
Pretty shitty. Yeah, I struggled with this actually. I didn't want to go more football. I was looking at MLB and the standings, and two teams kind of stick out to me, and I didn't want to do this to you, but I'm gonna give
Fine.
my shitty to two teams that are in the wild card right now that are struggling mightily: Baltimore Orioles and the Minnesota Twins.
Wait for
And
Danny Coulomb.
I don't know what's going on with Baltimore. I know they've had pitching injuries. The
Too
offense
many.
I think they'll be fine. Hey, they ran into the playoffs last year and then got swept. It's
Yeah, this is when you want to suck.
suck now, figure it out in the next 2 weeks, and then
Right.
you're fine. You have enough of a cushion. You're four games up on that wild card though. You can't lose every game, but
Got to play the damn Yankees.
and then but the Twins, they're in trouble. They are 80 and
Oh, yeah.
71 now. They're 4 and 6 in their last 10. And the Detroit Tigers are 2 games behind them for the wild card. The Detroit Tigers, which was my sleeper
It
playoff,
was.
and it might actually happen. It didn't look good for a while, but they've come on and they're right there. So the playoff race is going to be fun. And it's due to some teams struggling and some other teams getting hot. I think the Yankees put the Red Sox to bed, so that was beautiful. But the
That's
Twins,
men.
yeah, tuck them in. Good night. The Twins right now are looking behind them at the Tigers 2 games back and the Mariners 2.5 games back. So that's a tight one in the AL. And then the NL, it's D-backs, Mets, and Braves fighting for 2 of 3 spots. I think the Padres are pretty set with that top wild card. They've been just on a roll in the second half of the year. And the Braves are right there. The Cubs are 5 back. It's probably done there. They're in the same spot as the Red Sox. But Braves, Mets, D-backs are all separated by 3 games there, 2.5 games. So that's gonna be fun to watch. Look, I don't love the third wild card, but I kind of do, I guess. No.
Shorten the season. I'm sorry. I've never ever said that in my life. Give me 150 games, shorten the season, and make everybody sprint to it.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. That's it for the show. Thanks, everybody. Follow us, the Sports Clash, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Find us on SoBet. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening.